Call the meeting to order at 7:04. This is a meeting of the Oak Mills Board of Directors. And the opening meeting we have, first thing to do is approve the minutes from the June 11th board meeting. So moved. Okay, one motion and then second by Andrew. Discussion. Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Abstained because I wasn't here. So it's a 301 for it. Okay, the next item on the agenda is approve the agenda for tonight's meeting. Okay, Warren is moved and Andrew is seconded. And then Paulette, did you want to make an amendment to the agenda? Okay, so what we do is first get the amendment, approve the amendment, and then approve the agenda. Is that?
As amended, yeah.
Yes, okay, okay. Paulette, if we're for discussion, and please make the motion to amend the agenda.
I make a motion to amend the agenda.
To add what to the agenda?
Oh, to add the discussion about attendance committee. Association.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have, would that be under old business then?
Yes, it would be considered under old business.
Okay, so old business discussion of a tenant committee. Okay, so any further discussion on the amendment? So we vote to approve the amendment to the agenda. So all in favor of the amendment? Opposed and abstained, so it's 4-0-0. To approve the amendment, now to approve the amended agenda. Any further discussion on that? No, all in favor? Opposed, abstained, 4-0-0. Okay. And then written in old business discussion. Okay. So the next item on the agenda is resident remarks. It's 3 minutes per resident. And overall, hopefully we'll get it done in 10. A lot for resident remarks, but if there are more, then it's extended. Please note that the meeting's attendees' audio is muted. And if you wish to participate in resident remarks, this is the people electronically. Please raise your hand, which is one of the options available for participants and appears as an icon on the screen. Okay. And McGee, do we have a sign-up list over here for residents for?
So grab it.
Okay, I was going to grab it. So what we'll do.
Timer, so I'll work your timer.
Oh, okay, fabulous. So we'll start with the residents who are here, who want to speak out. And then if there's anybody online, I don't think anybody that's online right tonight. So, okay. Okay, thanks, McGee, really appreciate it. Okay, and I apologize if I mispronounce anybody's name, and please correct me. Okay. First person is Melissa Light. Okay, and where should they stand, Brigida, or just sit there and speak, or?
They can sit and speak.
Oh, I'm sorry, my
absolutely
fault.
fine, unless
My
you
fault.
want to stand, it's up to you.
Yes, okay, my fault. I'm sorry, Brigida. I messed up. She, thanks, Warren, wrote no, did not wish to speak, but is here. My fault. The rest do wish to speak. Kevin, Judy, is that correct? Okay, so you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a camera, it's not a mic.
Yeah, the mic is actually up
Yeah, the
here.
mic's up here. Okay.
So I don't have a long, I don't have a full 3 minutes of remarks, but I will say I'm here from Columbia Point. I'm here with other tenants of Columbia Point who have, as you've heard at the last meeting, been going through a lot of big issues. And I just really want to advocate for the creation of that tenant committee, because this body, it's like, I see it as like the most close example of direct democracy that we have in this area. So I believe, based on what I've heard, that this body wants to do the best for the people of Oakland Mills, and I believe that having that tenant committee formed is going to help with getting county eyes on Oakland Mills and to have them, really, for lack of a better phrase, bring down the hammer and, get Columbia Point and other communities as they come to join the tenant committee to be fully compliant with the needs and the agreements that they made with the tenants of these various rental communities. That's
Okay.
all.
Thank you, Kevin, and thanks you for feeling that this is a very democratic situation. Yes, we want to hear everybody, we will work very hard for everybody. Thank you. Okay, next person is Brandon Early, is that correct?
It's Herbie.
Irby, I'm sorry, oh, it's a B, okay,
Yeah.
my fault, Brandon.
Right, so I'm a resident also of Columbia Point. I was the one who initiated the gathering and meetings of the tenants. Thank you again for allowing us that meeting last time. It seemed to help a lot of tenants and allowed us to have a gathering meeting spot. I am all for the creation of the committee. It allows us an integral direct connection with the county and letting them know exactly what's going on within our communities. Because these are communities, these aren't just complexes, they're small neighborhoods. So knowing what's going on in small neighborhoods is essential to knowing what's going on in your county, I believe. So I'm all for it. I again appreciate the time, and there's again a lot of issues that need correcting, and I believe you guys would have the power to do so. Thank you again.
Thank you, Brandon, appreciate that, and if I remember correctly, all of the rental housing unit, oh, my fault, the apartment rental housing units in Oak Mills represents about 30% of all housing units in Oak Mills. So you are a huge community. And next on the list here, Jim Gray, did I get that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
How you doing? I just like.
Very good.
I just like to thank you for this opportunity to speak with you. The last meeting I was here, I brought up the factor that I had seen this type of behavior before. This weekend, with my unit, the apartment I live in, the temperature inside the unit was 96 degrees. It actually, the thermostat actually shut off. I guess it was too hot. It couldn't read any more temperature. But what I did want to say is that we have had a loss at Columbia Point. A person passed away. We don't know exactly why. We're waiting around to find out, and we're hoping that we can find out this information. But when you think about some of the people at Columbia Point, myself, I'll speak for myself. I have multiple medical conditions that don't allow me to be exposed to extremely high temperatures. The rental office knew this because I sent it to them in their service request and they ignored it. So what I'm looking at is the only way they're not going to do it on their own. Okay, they're not going to do it out of the kindness of their heart. They're not going to say, okay, we need to straighten things out. They're going to brush it under the rug, and it really doesn't bother them as long as they're getting paid. So I just wanted to say that, and that I hope this wasn't due to the extremely high temperatures. But if it was due to the extremely high temperatures and you knew about it, I think we're looking at gross negligence under the law of the state of Maryland. And if I looked up what is required for gross negligence, and this would be that, and I think that the family, if it is, should be compensated out of their, because what if it happens again? And we got another hot one coming up this weekend, and I still don't have
about
any
30
air conditioning.
seconds. About 30 seconds.
I still don't have any air conditioning.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. Jim, yes, go ahead, Karen.
Jim, thank you very much. I'm so very sorry to hear that one of your members has passed away. Does the did that person live by themselves in that unit? So they have family in that unit who are experiencing the same things.
Yes, and they are a Muslim family, so I don't know if the wife speaks English very well or not. He did speak at the last meeting, Mr. Montessori.
Was that the gentleman who didn't have the smoke alarm?
The AC,
That's correct.
yes, that's correct, and no AC. Yes, he passed away yesterday.
He passed away.
Yes.
Correct.
And his doctor had warned them. Yes,
They've been without a single one.
yes.
Oh, okay.
From research.
Hmm.
I do believe they lived at 5814 possibly, I can't remember the apartment number, but I know they were third floor. But they lived in that building, 5814.
And that's a three-story building.
Yes, they're all three.
Thank you.
buildings, Yes, and I feel worse for the people in the high rise, it was all good to them. And I only know this because I used to be the leasing consultant at that property.
So, do you guys know, and like, do you know if anybody from social services, has anybody reached out to this family?
I don't know, because I just found out this morning on my way to work, this client had told me, I just found out this morning about it. So I haven't even had a chance to get home from work and try to knock on this poor widow's door to get more information from her, or if she'd even be comfortable, or her son would be comfortable, because I'm not going to lie, they have not been treated kindly by the office at all.
No one has.
No.
Okay.
No one.
You guys, thank you very much for answering my questions.
Thank you. Next to speak is Cassandra Bunra, is that, I'm sorry, what was that last name, please?
Burra, B-U-R-R.
Okay, it looked like an N, okay,
Sorry.
B-U-R-R-A, okay, Cassandra Burra.
I was here at the last meeting and I spoke about a possible gas leak in my building. Well, while I was here in that meeting, BGE did find a gas leak in one of our neighbors' homes that had been leaking for months. We had told the property, we called the fire department, they said, oh, it was just someone left a burner on in an apartment. We still smell gas, nothing. I had a water leak about 2 weeks ago, called emergency maintenance. Nobody bothered to call. I have on my ring camera where he looked at my door and walked away. I'm in rent escrow and they filed a failure to pay rent notice on me to go to court on Friday, and I just got the notice this morning. And I'm like, but I'm in rent escrow. So this property is doing a lot of illegal practices, breaches of leases. In our lease, it says $5 flat late fees. They're charging 5% to residents. When I keep bringing it up to them, it goes unnoticed. They don't answer emails, they don't answer phone calls. Even the regional manager now, when you text her or email her, she does not respond, and she's new. We cannot get any kind of relief in this complex. My apartment building, I used to live at the top of I live up at the top of the hill, but it used to be so bad you couldn't get parking. I had to pay for reserved parking. Now it's empty. My boyfriend found a bag of weed in the parking lot. And I'm not talking like a little small bag. I'm talking like a Ziploc bag. Beer bottles, these big tall ones. People we don't know that if they live on our property, grilling on our property. At the back of my parking lot, trash. It got improved for a minute after our last meeting, but now it's right back to the same nonsense.
They knew the county came out, that's what.
Exactly. They're now finally working on our swimming pool, but they forgot to order the wristbands for us. So we still don't have access to our amenities. It is becoming bad, so I'm a big advocate for this tenants board. We need it for people like Mr. Montessori and his family who can have some kind of resource to advocate for them, because they don't speak English very well. And I'm sorry to say, but it is sad that a woman lost her husband, and if it's because of heat with these extreme temperatures, somebody needs to pay for that. Because I can't imagine how that poor woman in a foreign country feels right now without her spouse. She must be lost. And because they're pure Muslim, it is going to be difficult for her
30
because she's
seconds.
been in the home. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
I have a quick question for you. The parking lot that you're referring to, I think I drove around there several times last week. And as I had mentioned earlier, we've been kind of getting a tally of the trash and how it ebbs and flows, because that's what we can do as far as the exterior is concerned. But my question in that back area parking lot, is there, I went there during the day, so I was curious what the lighting situation was back there.
So the lighting situation is more towards the front of by the buildings on the sidewalk area.
So back in that wooded
Right.
part, there's not
There's
really
no-
any lights?
No, and there's not any really towards the very end by the fire hydrant. You don't have very good lighting back there either for the cars
Okay.
that are parked up along that side of the dumpster. It is very dark.
Okay,
And,
thank you.
Senator, one question. The problems that have been happening, have they begun to occur after the change in ownership, which I think occurred
Yeah.
about 2 years ago? The prior owners, which was family run out of Pennsylvania, did you have these kind of issues with that owner?
I've had this property since 2018.
Okay,
Never had a problem. If I had a water leak, it was taken care of immediately. When I was an employee and Carl, who missed the maintenance supervisor, he was from Morgan, he stayed on with the property. He quit back last July after Miss Lynette quit last July. I quit in August. And then the assistant property manager quit and rest of the maintenance was done by October of last year because of the unethical practices and things that they were doing. They didn't want to spend money to fix the apartments up for residents. They didn't want to spend the money to get somebody a new washer or a new dryer. They would just tell Carl, oh, buy a part and just do a fix it. No, you can't put a Band-Aid and expect it to stay. This building was built back in 1970s, 80s.
72, I think.
Something like that, I can't remember specifically. You don't have the modern technology in these buildings, the piping and things, they're going to break, and that is the issue, is now everything is breaking because you just put a Band-Aid on it. You're not going in and fixing the problem. My building has a permanent smell to it from the gas leak, and now the apartment across, they're renovating, and you can just smell everything from it. My daughter has asthma. I've told them this has got to stop. They don't clean the buildings either.
I asked that because, when the property was purchased by Morgan Properties, okay, Ginny and I were the co-chairs of the board, Jane Thomas. And we met within a week of them purchasing it, they met with us about all the exterior renovations they wanted to do and how to go about getting them approved through the approval process here. And they showed us a spreadsheet where over the next 18 months, they were going to invest, I think, $12 million for major upgrades, because the previous owner, which was the second largest REIT in the country, had done nothing there, okay, and Morgan felt it was the original roof was still there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And
They did an awesome job, but
And-
now these owners that came in, they don't want to spend the money.
that's the key point I wanted to get at, is ownership is everything.
Yeah.
And that before Morgan, it was a low point. Morgan came and really fixed it up, and it was going to continue to do a really good job. And part of the economics of apartment process is you buy one that's distressed, you invest a good amount of money to really pump up the property value, and then you sell it, you've made your money. And then normally the next one should do the same thing, unless you get a situation. I did some research on the owner, I won't say it in a public meeting, but I have concerns, okay?
Students, I worked there and I know exactly the insides and outs of their thinking. When they first came in and take over, we warned them, do not raise rents. Do not raise the rents immediately. You need to put money in to get money. They don't
yes.
understand this concept. They have 42 vacancies right now in that complex, probably more from people who are just moving out and not even saying anything, to be quite honest.
I-
It's
I
dead.
appreciate that consent, because main thing is
Yeah.
keep things moving. And just want to make those a few points, but thank you so much. And then the last person for us to speak out, Gwen Armelino. Gwen Armelino, in person here. Mhm.
My concern is, everything exactly said, okay? I tried reaching the regional. I wrote a letter, I sent it, an email, sent it, no reply. I called her today. I get a text back. Oh, only if it's a dire emergency do you contact me. You deal with the office. Nobody in that office wants to listen. the two dimwits that are sit up front, I'm sorry to say this, but they're like, I don't know. And then you can't get through to the back office because, you know, there's a Gestapo there, and then you've got the other one who doesn't want to listen to anybody. And basically, I'm sorry, it's a racial thing. She really does not want to talk to anybody. She has fired so many people for no good reason and brought on her friends.
You have a lot of personal, she has personal conflicts with people
Oh,
that she lets
big time.
get, you know, in the way of doing proper business.
Mhm.
It's not acceptable.
Oh, yeah, no, it's unjustifiable. And so who did we reach out to? I reached out to WBAL today. Hopefully, we're gonna get them to come out and do an investigation.
I will, keep talking, just make one comment. We do have somebody here from county, a couple of people from the county. After we do resident speak out, I'll ask if they would like to make a comment. Now have them introduce themselves. Okay, so the county's listening too. Okay,
Okay.
so keep talking. You're still at the minute 28.
Well, I don't, I pretty much said what I had to say. I've been there for 8 years. I have watched it go from that. Morgan was great. You went to that office, your Tom was fixed. Carl and the guys were right there. You go to the office now, oh yeah, sure. An email 2 months before they answered my email. I mean, I could be dead on the floor. And now they've got blood on their hands, what they've done. This is, out of control.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And Ginny, comment? Well, we have some online potentially. Anybody online for resident speak out? Raise your hand either electronically or turn your camera on and raise your hand. Anybody want to speak who's online? Going once, twice, 3 times, okay. So, is there, did somebody raise their hand? No, okay, okay, no, okay, very good, thank you. Okay, Ginny, you had a comment or two, and then I'm gonna.
Two really quick comments. One, I'd like to congratulate you for that is if you actually vote for the tenant group, and if you do, I would hope that you would notify the other boards, because I don't see why they don't do the same thing.
The other village boards?
Village-
Okay, very good,
Right.
thank you, just
So that's
clarification.
point one, because they're way behind what you will be doing, and it's way overdue, so. I know we tried something like this before, but this is fabulous. My congratulations to Paulette for being on it, Karen for supporting it, Bill, and all the board. If you do, I mean, I know it's premature, my congratulations, but I hope you do. Second thing is, I'd like to congratulate Bill as chair of the housing committee. Total failure in getting this done, but you've been pushing for 5 years to get bad landlord legislation passed, and it's not your fault, it's not your committee's fault, it's not this board's fault, but it is, I would like to know where the county is on this. Because you've gone to our council member, Opal Jones, you've gone to Calvin Ball, and we have 0 results. And this is a good example of where we finally got rid of a bad landlord, got Morgan, and we all worked hard, Bill, you and I and Kay Vishnevsky and Ward, to get this landlord here. And everything was going great, and then suddenly they sold to God knows, I don't even know who it is.
Excelsior.
It doesn't matter, it
Excelsior.
doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, I am absolutely stunned to hear that this is happening, I can't believe it at Columbia Point, and I am disappointed. So, bad landlord legislation is pathetic, that the county has not done anything, and I think they should be held to task as well. And I think the health department should be held to task if somebody actually died, and I would hope that the board would be asked, I mean, I know the person died, but if they died as a result of this, I would hope the board would be asking for a report from the health department, the coroner, whoever, to ask what was the cause of his death, and did this contribute to
Now,
it?
the wife did say it was heat asphyxiation. The problem with the Muslim faith is he had to be,
Very cremated.
cremated.
But the coroner had, the county coroner, I mean, didn't have to get involved in the coroner. I would think they just don't.
Right.
So my point is, I would hope the board would consider a letter, email to that appropriate group and say what was the cause of death and did this contribute to it. And make them get that on record because, you know, they can give you the
He
details.
did mention the last time he was here. And he had no problem.
Well, I'm just, what I'm asking the board to do is get the proof from you.
Yes, and you have a video of the last meeting, don't you?
Yes,
Yes, online.
So
we do.
you'll have him standing there speaking.
We save those. So yeah, we archive them. We save them. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay,
Doris.
thank you.
Thanks so much.
Okay, let me make 3 quick comments here. I was a landlord for 21 years, single family home and a townhome. And people who came to see it would said it's a courtyard Marriott of rentals in Howard County. So I learned you do have to spend money wisely to make money. I did, and I made good money. Secondly, there's 2 ways to make money: by taking care of people or by taking people. Okay, that's all I'll say about that. And for several years now, no, it's since 2016, when the Housing Committee came up with the list of goals and plans for housing and were approved by the village board unanimously, and I've been working on it. We're getting a lot of things done over the last 8 years, like the Housing Opportunities Master Plan, and et cetera, et cetera. But one of them on there is a bad landlord bill, or now a public nuisance bill. And we've been working with the county council, and what I understand, the county council, there are not enough votes in the county council currently to approve it. I have sent personally to all county, I won't say all county council members, at least one, Opal Jones, and others in the county, the Baltimore City Public Nuisance Ordinance and the Baltimore County Public Nuisance Ordinance. I've asked the Howard County representatives to run this by our Office of Law to see how this could be incorporated into the Howard County ordinance, a public nuisance bill, because this and several other issues in this village and in the county could be addressed with a public nuisance bill if current county codes, health codes, et cetera, don't extend far enough. This would be a catch-all at the end to take care of business. And there have been articles over the past years in the Sun papers about how Baltimore County and how Baltimore City use those ordinances to clean up messes in the county. Okay, so I'm strongly behind the public nuisance bill. I've been on it for 8 years and will continue to work on that. And then what I'd like to do is, Vicky, would you mind introducing yourself and your role? And if there's anything you'd like to say, because I want the residents to know the county at the highest levels knows about this and is pursuing potential remedies within current law, et cetera.
So my name is Vicky Garcia, and I'm fairly new to the county executive's office, but I am a strategic outreach coordinator for the villages, and so I'm just starting out. Thank you. And so at I was here at the last meeting, and I did report all of that information back to the county executive's office. My supervisor, Paul Thompson, immediately got with the different departments. There was the health department, the Department of Inspections, also Consumer Protection Department, to make them aware of all the different complaints. And so that is going on right now. I know, I can't say for sure who's been out yet to the property, but yes.
I had a call last night. I'm getting all these calls now. Sorry, Brenda, I don't know why. A mother called, her son lives in apartment 108. Raw sewage was coming out. Yeah.
So he's right down the hall of the leasing office.
Yeah. And raw sewage is coming out here.
And then we also pass along contact information to file complaints directly with the 3 departments, because they need it out on this record. And, I don't, hopefully everyone got it, but
I have all the information right here. I'll be able to pass it. Although, these flyers, but you post that.
that would be real good to make sure that
Sounds
all.
like a good
happens and get those complaints directed to. departments. And then we're just stayed in touch with, the board and, bring it up about, what's going on, process.
Vicky, can I ask you a question? Would it be possible, I mean, I know that, thank goodness you were here 2 weeks ago. We really appreciate your presence, being able to get the county paying attention to this. Can you be a regular at our meetings every 2 weeks where you can please tell us the very specific actions that the different departments are taking, from the licensing, consumer protection, the health department? I think that would really help the residents a lot to have like a laundry list. We've encouraged the residents when we're talking to them, you provided all those links in your update email to please file the complaints and keep track of the complaints that they're filing. But it would be nice if we could also hear from you of specific actions, that the county is taking to
Yes.
help.
I'll go back and,
Yeah.
speak with Paul about that and see what I can bring this time.
Yeah, and we would love to have you here every meeting for a while until we figure this out with these residents, yeah.
Let's see, Cassandra and then Jenny and
I just have a question. Is there any way to be able to set up on someone's laptop, one of us residents or something, for residents who are not technological savvy to do their complaints online, since it is an online process? Would that be possible for us to do for residents who are not? Like Mr. John, who I had the last meeting, who was deaf and blind.
Great.
So we can get his complaint in for him on his behalf, so everybody is heard.
so,
Would that be
so,
possible?
so that you would then forward all that to the appropriate county
Correct.
departments, et cetera. So you would be a clearing point within the apartment complex, okay? And it'd be working with the proposed tenant committee.
Yeah.
Can I just say something? You guys should not wait for a meeting. You should not wait for a meeting to file your complaints. If you have a laptop, if you have a computer, because I'm sorry, I can't remember the gentleman's name. Instead of him having to walk here and wait 2 weeks, if you guys can help him now in his own apartment, file the complaints. And then I think Brandon is collecting, he would like to know, and he's actually trying to keep a master list of all the complaints, so that after you file your complaint, you get the acknowledgement, you can forward it off to Brandon. He's trying to keep track of all that stuff. But I would encourage you not to wait 2 weeks. I would really like it, I really like the gentleman who stood up and spoke, and I'm just devastated to hear that he has died. And so in 2 weeks, I would really like it if I would really like from the residents to please file the complaints, so that something that they're there, there's a record of them.
And let me say this about documentation. I've been through documentation processes many times. So I was an engineer for Verizon for 32 years. I've had to testify before public service commissions, et cetera, when higher ups goofed up and I cleaned up the mess and I was on the hot seat. Okay. And then I deal with many different organizations, lots of different situations, document everything, excruciating detail. It will be a pain in your posterior to do it, but it will pay off. I've been there, done that often. Okay. And it has saved me thousands of dollars one time on a rental when BGE messed up. Okay. And nothing bad about BGE, but they just did, and it's a fact. So document everything. When you go to make a phone call, okay, you put the date, you put the time, you put the phone number you're calling, you put down who you talked with. And before you make that call, you bullet point the key points you want to make to them, okay? Then you bullet point the key responses they made to you. Document that kind of detail. It will pay off. It'll be a pain to do it, but it's there, shows you care. And just because you file it with the current owner doesn't mean they're going to keep track of it or even keep record of it. Okay, period. You've got to do it all yourselves, my opinion, and I want to help you all, so please do that, okay? And then Ginny had a hand for additional comment, and then we'll get back to Vicky and then Brad.
Points. One, with the documentation, and I agree with everything you said, it has to be in detail, but I would hope that Brandon's keeping it, but that if the board, which I hope they'll do, will vote for this task force, that it will go to the task force so that the board has a record of exactly what you're talking about, Bill. Second thing where I have a real problem with one of the things you said, and what you said the county's saying, as a former Howard County Council member and a House of Delegates member, I don't know how to tactfully say this, but to hear that the reason somebody didn't sponsor a bloody bill that's really needed is because it didn't have the votes. You don't know whether it had the votes or not until it hits a public hearing and until democracy occurs. And you have a right to say what you think. And guess what? The managers and the owners of apartments will have another right. But to assume that their colleagues will not vote for it, and that is, I'll say it, bullshit in terms of turning down legislation, especially since it's been very successful from what you found out in Baltimore County. So that I totally cannot accept from an elected official in Howard County. File the bill and then allow the public to be heard. And then if it doesn't have the votes, you know who to get after. So
And-
I won't say any more tonight.
And what modifications can be, and what modifications can be made to the bill to make it pass, because
You only do that at a hearing in public where the people have to say, and then you say, I'm gonna amend this, I'm gonna amend that. But you've been deprived, we've been deprived, they've been deprived of a bad landlord bill because of that.
that's what I was told.
Blanks there. Sorry.
Okay, and then, let me get back to the. Okay, and then, Vicky, could you continue if you had additional comments here?
No, I think yes, I'll check back with Paul and for the next meeting. Yeah.
Is it possible, Vicky, to get somebody from the health department into the building ASAP? We're gonna have very hot temperatures. And the gentleman who died, I was thinking that you guys were gonna tell me it was someone very elderly, but there are very elderly people who live in this building who may not be mobile. And I mean, I don't know if you guys can help target those apartments so that the health department can go in, somebody can go in and check on them. Because I cannot handle hearing that we lost another resident in 2 weeks. So is that possible to get somebody from the health department out as soon as possible tomorrow?
I will definitely.
Thank you.
Check with Paul.
Yeah, my concern, Vicky, is this is tip of the iceberg. This situation will explode and it'll be very bad for Oakland Mills and for the county. That's my personal opinion, for whatever that's worth, but if there was a health department task force that went through every apartment in the next week, I'd love it. That's my personal opinion. And yes, this comment here.
Just because of all this stuff we're talking about, then all of like the cooling centers and stuff that those would have access to, there's been a lifeguard pool for 2 weeks. So they could let us in there if they wanted to. They have the person staff to let people cool off there in our community. But they're not letting us in because they don't have the risk. They do sewer guys who don't have to.
Right. Yes, sir. There's be final comment here, and then we'll move
Something
on.
else I want to say, I got on their bad side. I live on the third floor. On the first floor, they're renovating an apartment and then gutted it. The air condition was on 67 degrees in that apartment. In my complaint, in my request, service request, I gave them an option of moving us to that unit or removing the condenser out of that unit and bringing it up to my unit so my unit could be cool. They chose not to. So it isn't that the tenants aren't helping and they aren't offering suggestions. It's just that when you're talking to a person who perceives you as less than human, they're not gonna do it anyway. You're just a rat complaining about you.
So I understand that and document that. Document that. Okay.
I'll put it out every tenant.
Excellent. So if we,
So I went down to the office, of course, and there was all my phone. Yes, the girls down there, said to me. Oh, there's one thing we can do, we don't have any computers, we don't have any phones right now. I said, okay, and I stormed out of there and went upstairs, then I get a call, and it's a private number. I answered it. And it was, what's her name, Jeanette, something like that.
Oh, this is-
Yes, that's- She said, Miss Gwen, meet you on the second floor. Okay, so.
Could move it quickly so we could, because we do want to get to the vote on that.
Renovated. Shower. I said, no, thanks. I'd rather use my own shower.
And
Yeah, okay.
So there.
They wouldn't give me,
they wouldn't be my sister, right?
and I have.
You know, yeah, you say I spoke to Miss Gwen.
I have a $50.
Let me say thank you to all the residents of Columbia Point Apartments. We're working on it. You've got Calvin's chief assistant here interfacing with all the villages. Okay, and I know Calvin, he and I started after on village board here back in 2000, okay?
Just go in the corner.
Yeah, he lives around the corner. And,
That's our village.
yes. And I'm sure that the county will do everything that it can within the law to get this thing fixed. And we will continue on here, hopefully approve the tenant committee. And then I personally will do what I can, and that's all I can say in a public meeting about the situation, okay? But thank you so much, and document. Okay, let's see, we're moving on now to new business, another important issue here in the village. Did I get the whole thing?
No.
Nope.
You're good. You're on.
Adjustments of traffic patterns on Stevens Forest Road relating to the 7-Eleven construction. And it's Thomas Zikovich. He's from Howard County Department of Public Works. He's a regulations supervisor in East Zone of Construction and Inspection Division. Floor is yours, Thomas.
Thank you so much. Everybody sitting here, if that's okay.
Sure.
We had a number of complaints that filtered down to us through different layers of county departments, and I work for a construction inspection division. We interface with a lot of public, with contractors, developers, sort of the front line on a lot of these projects. And when issues like that come up, we often are dispatched to address them. And this is a project that has been permitted with the county. It has a grading permit, it has a building permit, it has a permit to connect water and sewer to it. So, you know, they're all are working within the legal frame there. And you know, we were a little bit concerned about all the issues that we were hearing about with the pedestrian traffic being impacted, with sidewalks being closed. And when we came out here, first we noticed that they did not post the proper signage in accordance with traffic maintenance of traffic plans that has been included with the full set of plans for this project. We immediately reacted to that, got the contractor to post the signage. And currently they are in phase 1 of maintenance of traffic. There are 2 other phases where they will be shifting the signage, and this is actually not fully implemented phase 1. Based on what's supposed to happen here is they're going to put up some barrels and actually shift the traffic away from the construction so they can do some work on the front edge of that job, you know, this project, to create wider sidewalks and turn lanes and such. And so that should be coming in the next couple of weeks. They need to actually connect water and sewer to this project that will be impacting traffic in Stevens Forest here. They will be digging a couple trenches across the road, particularly water will impact it because it's sort of on the opposite side of the road. And this was supposed to happen last week. There were some delays. They did not do that, but it's coming out within next week or so. After that, they will be in July. They will be working on this improvements along the Stevens Forest here to create a new sidewalk. In phase 2, they actually are moving on the opposite side of the street and working on the sidewalk and the ramp that will be bringing the pedestrian traffic from the other side, from the opposite side of the street, and across Stevens Forest through an island, which is being constructed in phase 3 of this project, of all this maintenance of traffic, where through all these phases, there will be shifting barrels and signage to follow the traffic around what they're doing out there, and obviously properly notify pedestrians. You know, likely this is happening while schools are closed, so hopefully they will be finished before that. The goal is, based on my conversations with the general contractor, to have most of the work done by September. I am sorry that this impacted you guys. You know, we are often kind of unaware of what's going on. You know, when a project is just starting, we go out there, have a pre-construction meeting, issue the permit, and then, you know, there's some time elapses before we come back. Fortunately, we are kind of spread out thin throughout the county. And we appreciate, you know, you guys are sharing these complaints and concerns. We are obviously always willing to come out and assist and make them comply with, you know, plan that has been approved, reviewed, and technically they should be following.
Yes, Karen?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't want to
No,
interrupt.
no,
I was just gonna, did you say that they're not in compliance with the signs?
Currently, they are in compliance.
Oh, they
They're
are.
actually
Okay,
not fully implementing the phase 1 because it would be it's not necessary, you know, for now. What it entails is there's some barrels and there's some shifting of lanes that needs to happen as part of the phase 1 also, but it's not needed at this point.
okay,
So it actually works better the way it is. But they will have, according to phase 1, they will have the right to shift the lanes and put some barrels out there to move that travel lane away from where they're working, so they can do all the improvements along Stevens Forest on the side of the road that is closer to the project.
do they have dates for that? It seems like they're going very quickly, but like, is there like dates, expected
But there are
dates?
no, so initially, we were told that for around the first week of July, they'll be working on that. And the utility connections for water and sewer is supposed to happen last week. I see about a week of delay already, so this whole thing might slide a bit.
Okay,
But, you know, I can certainly communicate with Brigida and provide an update once I have a chance to.
well, it would be great.
And again, I am always willing to communicate with you guys and provide any assistance that I can. I am relatively new to East Zone of Construction Inspection Division. I spent last over 9 years in Central Zone, which is Columbia on the other side of 29, Clarksville, Fulton, and some other areas that are in the Midwest of here. But you know, I am kind of inheriting a bunch of projects here, and I'm willing to learn all I can about them and be as helpful as I can.
Thank you, that's all I need.
Fantastic, Thomas. Is staying in communication with Brigida is great. Appreciate that. And is there a shorthand? I know that's a lot of documentation, but is there kind of like a shorthand, a one page, or maybe of key things that Brigida could look for happening? And so she could say, let you know, so you'd be able to update inspection. I know you're spread thin. And if
Well,
there's,
but, yeah, like I said, we are always willing to you know,
okay,
attend to the needs as they come up.
I appreciate it, because it's just safety, and if there's a set of rules they're gonna follow, if it was a simple one pager that Brigida could look at and as she drives by there, look for those kind of changes, and if there's anything that's missed, she could give you a call and say, well, I'm not sure about this, what do you think? And maybe take a picture and send it to you if there's issues that we would have. And for all of us, it's traffic safety, but even more than that, it's pedestrian safety, and particularly the kids walking up there to and from school.
After the meeting, I actually noticed one of the signs is down, so I'll stop by tomorrow morning and talk to them about it. But as far as the short, brief description of what's supposed to happen, I believe I shared the pages of maintenance of traffic. If I
You did, and I had indicated that, unfortunately, not everybody is gonna understand that.
Yeah, so.
So language is a little bit
Maybe,
easier.
summarize that, and bullet points of, what's supposed to happen in each of those phases. That way, you might be able to follow that and look for the changes as they come up.
Kind of be an extra pair of eyes for you to make your job easier.
So, we have more like a regular inspector assigned to it, it's supposed to be making his rounds and checking on these projects frequently. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get out, every day, but, again, as things come up, I'm always willing to make visits.
Really appreciate it, Thomas. Any?
I do have a few things. So a couple of things is one of the, and I've mentioned this to you before, but being that I see it every day, it is a great concern of mine. So where the sidewalk here, they're directing people to cross the street with that crosswalk that crosses that large portion of area between the village center and the apartments. I don't know if there's anything you can do, but that crosswalk is very faded. And I can tell you on a daily basis that people are crossing, and every time when I am turning to leave work, I am very concerned that they're not gonna see them as they're speeding up over the hill. And not that a brighter crosswalk would stop the speeding, but being that we're directing people, if we could maybe repaint that crosswalk or give some indication that there's a pedestrian crossing there, that would be.
Yeah, reach out to highways. Tomorrow I'll reach out to highways and make them aware of that and see if they have ability to put a maintenance crew out here to repaint these.
Yeah, because I know originally we had talked about crossing guards, but it didn't qualify for the
Yes,
crossing guards
yeah,
based on numbers, so.
A couple of times, but the police department's coordinator for crossing guards determined that it was not necessary.
And the other thing I wanted to mention, and this may be taken care of with the change of the water and the sewer, et cetera, but when we had those really incredible rains a couple of weeks ago, right in front of the site, the whole, well, if you're traveling that way, the whole left lane of traffic was completely covered in water, and it must have been, I want to say 6 inches deep. I mean, I didn't drive through it because I was on the other side, but I watched people drive through it. So, I mean, again, it may take care of itself, but I noticed it twice.
I think the reason for that might be likely is that the storm drain inlet that is right there at the curb currently has protection on it, inlet protection to filter the sediment, and it's not allowing water to go in at higher rates, so it's temporary ponding there. They are required to keep a mark of the runoff on the site as possible. However, when we have really heavy rains, there's
Right, and that was incredible, right?
Yeah, and then again, if the inlet was fully open, it probably wouldn't pond as much as it did. But this is temporary condition, and like I said, with the improvements along that side of the street, that should go away relatively quickly.
Okay, I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all your correspondence, because like I said, I get probably on a daily basis a question, a complaint, a variety of things, and regarding that site in particular, and I think people are excited, but during the process, they're also concerned about safety, because a lot of people walk from this direction to the pool, to the schools. I mean, there's still summer school going on, so just, like I said, just concern for the safety.
And again, with the utility work coming out, there might be some temporary traffic issue there. They are required to provide traffic or allow traffic to go around it, flag it, post flaggers and such, but it might be for a day or so change in pattern there.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
And again, I will visit them tomorrow morning, once I find out more specifically about the schedule for that and schedule for their work along their side of the street. I will communicate with you for that.
Okay, and thank you so much, like I said, for coming in such short notice.
No problem, and I apologize for canceling kind of last minute, last time, something came up with my daughter. So.
Yeah.
I was,
Probably working
last meeting, I was definitely sick. I wasn't here, so I get it.
It was, the people from the point were here, so that was a good time for you. We needed your time. So so that worked out.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, very good. Thomas, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for the.
Oh, it helps all of us. It helps all of us. Thank you, because Brigitte will be an extra pair of eyes for you.
Thank you. I'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Okay, new business, old business, discussion of the tenant committee, and Paulette, would you like to lead that, please?
Okay, so Jonathan, he had emailed me, with a lot of good suggestions and things like that. So what I was thinking about is, based on what he was saying as well, is that we need representation from all the different apartment complexes, as well. Well, he was also talking about, other renters as well, but that's a little bit harder to kind of find out who the renters are. But of course, we would leave a space open for them, but we were thinking each of the complexes to have some type of representation, and that we would be like helping them file their reports or grievances and things like that. So we have the Verona, Autumn Crest where I live, Columbia Point, and Forest Ridge.
Yep, that's all four of them.
Mhm, that's all four. Mhm.
And does Forest Ridge really have 12 rentals, or is it,
They're pretty
Forest Ridge has 108 units.
but they're like owned and rented?
No,
No.
all of those are
It's all-
rented.
they're all-
Forest Ridge,
it's all rental.
last time I checked it, all rental.
So basically, we just want to be an advocate for the needs of the tenants and open house.
I like
Okay.
that, Paulette. So what you're saying is you would have, the tenants committee would focus on the apartment complexes that are run by a management company. I think that's a smart way to do it. I understand that we have many types of renters. But the renters that live like in Shadow Oaks or rent a townhouse, I think that their issues are a little more. They're not the exact same as what these guys are experiencing, right? So I think to keep the focus on that is probably the smart way to do it.
So would you like to make a motion?
Tell me how to make the motion.
I just have one quick
Go
question.
ahead.
I was just curious, so the other, and this is really just for my own information, but the other committees, some of them meet regularly, some of them meet periodically, depending on if there is a particular issue they're focusing on. Did you know what you wanted to do, or were you gonna kind of decide as you went along? I was just curious as far as meeting space and things like that.
Right. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
Is this just so are you trying to just establish a committee and you just kind of, because you want to work on like the charter, the things that
Yes.
Jonathan put on his emails, like the charter, make sure you have representation from the four complexes.
Right,
Yeah.
and I wanted to like get you guys input as well. You guys are
Okay.
doing this.
So I would recommend that you have regular meetings, like if everyone knew that the second Tuesday of the month or twice, it sounds like you guys really need meetings right now. That you would, just set those up and then people would know that they would make their schedule around that. So that works a lot better than if you just, oh, I can go out and meeting tonight, it's just an easier way and then Brigida is really good at getting the word out to people, so. If you just let her know, and her and Amy, people just come, so it sounds like lots of people want to come to this.
Okay.
They meet in this building as a meeting space?
Yes,
Yeah.
as a committee of the board, yes.
It would just have to be arranged, but yes, absolutely.
So for the other committees, we've just as a board decided to create, like for Jonathan, the education committee, and approve that, and then approve Jonathan as chair of the education committee, and it's that simple, if I'm not mistaken. Correct?
What Jonathan had, mentioned that the discussion and the initial, discussion would happen tonight and then it would be voted on in the second meeting, how we typically do it, but I do feel like, I mean, you have the right to overstep that,
Right.
especially in the situation that we're currently in, yeah.
I agree. What I'd like to do to handle your need here is we have rules within the board here that we normally have something as new business and then 2 weeks later as old business. And at that second meeting, that's when we, the board, make decisions and take votes, okay? So that the community has time between the two meetings to get informed and come to the second meeting if they missed the first, et cetera, et cetera. Now, those are the normal rules. What I'm gonna move that we suspend that rule in this situation so that we are able to move and take a vote on this tonight.
I'll second that.
I moved second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of suspending the rules? Okay, 4 against, opposed? Okay, 4-0-0 to suspend the rules so that we can vote on this tonight. And Paulette, give you the honor of making the motion to create the tenant committee here on the village board.
I make the motion to create the tenant committee.
You got all the seconds?
I'm gonna say that Paulette made the initial motion and the three of us simultaneously seconded it. Okay, I saw all hands go up very quickly, and I think that's one for the record book.
There you go.
Okay, and so any discussion, any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed, abstained, 4-0-0. We have a tenant committee now.
Bill, can I move to make Paulette the chair?
Absolutely, and I'll second that.
There you go.
Okay, any other nominations? No, okay. All in favor of Paulette as the chair of the committee? Opposed, abstained, 4-0-0. Paulette is chair of the tenant committee.
Well done.
Fantastic.
And Paulette, feel free, you can either call, you can email, you can come in and we can kind of talk about like meeting times, whatever you need, just feel free. I'm here through the 3rd and then I'm out, but I'm still reachable, so.
And Jonathan has already given you a lot of advice and
Yeah.
partner with Jonathan through the process. Okay, he's awesome at that kind of stuff. Okay. Dynamite. Yes, I got you.
So the tenant committee would serve as board.
The tenant committee is a committee authorized by the board. It is a board director is chair of the committee and would hold meetings to work on the issues. And when board involvement is necessary, Paulette and the committee would come to us and say, here's what we'd like the board to get behind. We'd like the board, and oftentimes we'd like the board to write a letter to the following officials, et cetera. And here are the key things that we want in this letter. And then the board would take that up, discuss that, and ultimately vote to send that letter or not. It'd be one of the major things that we do. And Brigitte, if there are other things that you.
Well, and as a committee of the board, all meetings are open to the public. And we also post meeting notes, meeting agendas, if there are, we post them on our website so the community is aware. And as Warren mentioned, we have a bi-weekly e-news that Amy puts out. And in that we list all of our committees and when they meet and invite the public.
So Paulette would serve as a liaison then to the apartment complex,
Yeah,
not just this one, but
Mm-hmm.
all.
Correct.
and I think what
Yes.
she has to do is, so Paulette needs to form the committee. She needs to find the 4 representatives from the different complexes. They need to come up with a charter, what the committee will be responsible for. And does that have to be approved by us? Or if they can write their charter, does that have to be approved?
I believe it does, yes, I believe
So they have
in the past.
to,
it
so they have to
does,
write their
yes.
charter, bring it to us for approval, and then they're off and running. And not that they can't advocate from day one, they certainly can, but,
And being,
Those are some of the steps.
sorry, Karen.
Uh,
I was gonna say, being a board committee, it allots you the resources.
Allows. Oh, actually, research, lots and
Yeah.
lots.
Available, to the board, so you have all those at your disposal.
And also, real quick, I don't know how the process of like appointing, members to make them officially a member of that committee works, but like we've got a couple tenants in here who've been like pretty passionate. I'm curious if anybody in here would be, have interest in serving on that committee from the Columbia Point.
And get that information to Paulette, please, okay? Because Paulette's your advocate. Paulette's your advocate.
She just got new business. cards,
Cassandra,
so-
oh, she's running out.
Yeah, get all the information, grab that information right now.
Those are so tight.
You got it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Badges, business cards, we're off and running.
Yes. Okay, next item on the agenda, person, I'm glad it's working out, that you're coming together to get this problem fixed, and we're fast tracking it for you too here. Okay, next item on the agenda is the Columbia Council Rep report, Karen.
Yeah, so, we have our next board meeting on Thursday. It'll be the first meeting with the new president of the Columbia Association, Sean McInnes. So, I have a meeting with him tomorrow morning, gonna talk to him about my favorite subject, pools. And a few other items that I want to talk to him about. Obviously, I'll be talking to him about, policies around how, CA approves and doesn't approve easements and other things that have been on my radar over the past year. So that's tomorrow morning, and then Thursday, regular meeting with Sean McInnes. And originally, we haven't had a meeting since prior to 2 weeks ago. So we don't have nearly as many meetings this year as we did last year, so. So that's the end of my report, unless anybody has any questions. And Brigida and I are working on, a possible reception with the village sometime, what did we say, August?
August, it's a first board meeting. We're looking at before the board meeting, we haven't decided on our exact audience initially. We're still discussing that.
Yeah, it's still in discussion. We haven't come to any firm plans, but yeah, so an opportunity for the board and the village to come to the meeting and meet the new president and talk to him. He's a very nice man, so I hope everybody will like him. And then also eventually I would like to talk to you. I would like to talk to the board, and I'm glad that Brigida brought all this up, but I am hoping that maybe the board, we could work on doesn't have to be this meeting, but in a future meeting, I would like to work on us perhaps asking for just the Talbot Springs pool to be included in the annual charge, to maybe make that the pool that is free. If you're a resident in Columbia, you would have access to it. So I don't want to do it without Jonathan here. I'd really like to have a discussion about what that would mean, what kind of letter, but I might try to grease the skids a little bit tomorrow with Sean. Warren's thinking he's gonna go to Talbot Springs pool. Anyway, that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Next item is the village manager report, Brigida.
Yes, so, I have, you see before you that I sent back to you the budget that we sent to CA, and as you know, they have to, lost where it was, they review it and then they indicate whether or not any revisions are made. So, on Friday, I was informed that the revision that was needed, I had adjusted the columns, and I'm trying to pull it up, it's not coming up, but I put the budget FY 24 column in the estimate FY 24, literally flipped the two
Okay.
columns. I don't know why my brain did that, but it did. So, we switched it back, the accountant fixed it, and we sent it back over to CA. However, in order for me to send an official copy, I need to vote on the revised budget.
Okay. I move that we vote on the revised budget.
Okay, second, okay. Any discussion on the revised budget? Okay, all in favor of submitting revised budget to CA? against, and abstain, so we're 4-0-0.
Okay, and then the other, is my, this computer's playing in with me today, my manager's report. And, I will say I was at the jazz concert on Sunday.
It looked like it was well.
And it was lovely. My son and my husband came with me and, you ever get an opportunity to hear her sing, she's just wonderful. Her
Who was the
musicians are
performer?
wonderful. She's just a very pleasant lady. Christine,
Okay.
forgive me, I'm making up names. Allison Crockett.
Okay, I see.
There we go. And, we didn't sell out, but we were pretty close. But it was very pleasant. It was just a lot of fun.
Lavinia gets amazing talent here. That's, everybody just raves about it.
Yes, she absolutely does. And, she will be performing Lavinia on September 8th. And if you've
Oh,
never
okay.
heard her sing, it will blow your socks off. It's amazing. I will definitely be there. Tickets go on sale for that online and at the other barn on Friday.
I'm at the beach.
Amy has been furiously securing entertainment
Sunday.
for the 2024-2025 Lively Art Season, as well as the festival, and we are about ready to, mid-July, start soliciting for festival vendors. So that's all coming along. The community pool party tickets are free, but we do need you to have a ticket. All are invited, and it will be held August 5th. But do register early, as we do have a limit based on the number that they allow in the pool.
Didn't our pool party get canceled next year?
Our pool party often gets canceled. For some reason, it decides to rain on that exact day,
Yeah.
but Ashley, I'm looking at Ashley,
Fingers
Amy and
crossed.
I are really hopeful this year.
Hey, real quick, Brigida, on
Yes.
the community pool party. Anybody can go to that community pool party, right?
Yes, as long as they have a ticket and they're from Oakland Mills.
I just wanna make sure the people here from the.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's pizza and food and games and a DJ. And it's just a really casual, chill evening to all hang out together.
If it pours, they cancel it and they don't reschedule it, but if it's nice out, come to Stevens Forest Pool.
Yeah.
Just make sure you buy your
Also-
tickets.
Also, I don't know if you guys can hear me. The tickets will be available July 3rd on Eventbrite.
Yes. Yes, thanks, Amy. Let's see, we had an umbrella at the Lake Fest. We didn't win, but I will congratulate Wild Lake Community Association, who did win in the Community Association category.
Who was voting?
Regular people, they actually got a lot of votes.
I don't trust the vote.
I learned things, though. I learned we need to use different paint next year,
Oh, okay.
So
so.
how do you do that? I love seeing that. I've gone and watched it, I've walked around it a few times. How did you guys do it? Did you
So-
just do it here somewhere?
Ashley and I did it
Oh,
here, yeah, but anybody can do it. CA puts out, oh gosh, I want to say in May, early May, they put out an announcement and you just have to let them know. For residents, there is, I think, a small fee, but for community associations and probably some groups, you don't have to pay, and you get the umbrella and you design it. Some people were like these amazing artists
Sure.
and they're just phenomenal. And then you turn it into the art center and then they display it and then you get it when
Right.
it's over. So, it was fun. And then Ashley and I are working on a staff board volunteer opportunity. Columbia Community Cares reached out to us to see if we would be able to put together some snack bags to get to them. So you will be getting something about that. So we can have kind of like a whole thing, putting those together to share with Columbia Community Cares. And one thing I did forget, we did start the process for renegotiation of the management contract as it expires at the end of this fiscal year. We have another meeting. Well, biggest announcement is it's no longer going to be called a management contract. Instead, it will be within the same contract, but it will be two separate entities. One will be called the Facilities Management Agreement. And currently the name is the Grant Management Contract. Those are the draft names. They're not official names yet. We did receive the draft of the revisions from Judelle Campbell, who is our liaison with CA, and we'll also be working with Lynn Schwartz and Joshua Bennett from CA. They presented us with a timeline. It was a very quick timeline. We asked them to stretch it out, which they've agreed on. And then we have another meeting on Thursday, same realm, but to discuss the assessment allocation formula. So I will be giving updates regarding that. Our meeting for the contract itself to start the process, I believe, is July 8th, which is when I'm on vacation, but I'm not gonna miss it. I'm just gonna zoom in so I can be a part of the meeting, because I don't want to miss out on what they're talking about.
So Brigida, what are your concerns about what you've seen so far?
Well, first and foremost, I do not like the name grant.
No one does?
Management, grant contract, whatever I don't like the word
Why
grant.
are they calling it a grant instead of the village share?
They didn't really indicate, and I will say that as a village manager group, we have not sat down and talked about the draft proposed contract, because we literally got it late Thursday, and so I think Friday we were all kind of digesting it. So we haven't had a meeting to discuss it amongst ourselves, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I'm literally going through it with a fine tooth comb, and they did highlight the changes that they made, but they said those are the big changes. Nothing has jumped out at me so far. Other than the threshold, I don't know if those of you who were there the last time they negotiated, or perhaps it was during COVID. Anyway, where our threshold for maintenance repairs, it was at 1,000 and we worked to keep it at 1,000. Well, the threshold will be $2,000. That is one of the proposals, which, and another big thing, which I'm not sure how it's going to fit in, is our budgets have to reconcile. You know how there's always a discrepancy. They wanted to reconcile to basically break even.
Right.
Which, based on it'll be interesting. So that's where we're at. That's kind of the very beginning phases, but I will keep everybody in the loop, and certainly once I get a hold of it, I'll certainly be looking for feedback from the board.
Right.
Absolutely. Which is why we wanted them to extend the timeline, because everybody wanted to get feedback.
Let me know wherever you need support on that.
Okay.
If you have-
And I know that was a lot. So, oh, and I will be out July 4th through the 12th. I'm doing a staycation.
I love those.
So I'm not unreachable, but I'm not gonna be jumping at the email or phone. Absolutely not.
Staycation.
Gonna be at the pool.
Right, exactly. You finally get to enjoy your own house, right? That's what, yes, you're like, I have this great place now, I can use it.
Yes, so.
Oh, thank you, Brigida. Committee reports, architecture, Andrew.
Nothing. Yes, we were gonna officially, look to do something today, but it got delayed until mid-July, so, yeah.
Okay. Having fun?
Yeah, it's good to start learning about the process, so, yeah. It's
Good, good. And public space, Warren?
So I played hooky and went to the beach instead of having a meeting. So so I have nothing to report.
You were in the wrong public space.
I was in the right public.
You were in a different good public space, that's right. That's right, yes. So bulletin board, Amy?
Trying to get this thing to mute. No, I don't have anything.
Okay, Brigida?
Just a reminder that we do not have a meeting on July 9th, that board meeting is not happening. So our next board meeting will be July 23rd. The office will be closed on July 4th. And, yeah, I think that's the only two announcements I wanted to remind you of.
Okay, Karen, bulletin board?
Nothing.
Nothing from me, Warren?
So I have to mention, since the 4th is coming
Oh,
up,
yes.
the bike corral is happening. We have downtown Columbia is giving away a free e-bike.
Oh, are they really?
They are, if you use the bike corral, you can be in the raffle.
I might
So
ride my bike over there just for that.
you just might do that. Because we're expecting a lot of people.
Yeah.
Thanks to Brigida's hard work, it's been out there and we sent it out to several other people and we're just hoping to have a big crowd this year. So that's very exciting.
Cool. Build on past success.
You bet, you bet.
Me too.
Hope it's not too hot, right?
Paulette? Nothing. Andrew? Nothing? Okay, thank you all for coming tonight. Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you, Bill. Well done.
Thanks.
Thank you.